front load this and next year's budget allocated for the Gambia to help in the fight against the coronavirus global pandemic. The EU ambassador to the Gambia, Attila Lajos, told iAfrica Top 3 program on Thursday that 22.5 million euros is on the pipeline for August 2020. These decisions, he said, were made by the European bloc in the center of the global crisis.
Actually, what we did in this review was to front-load, make arrangements, possibility to front-load all the budgetary support which was foreseen for this and next year, so for 20 and 21. As a result of that, 9 million emergency budgetary support was already disbursed by 30th of April. And then the next disbursement will take place probably in August, 22.5 million euro. Budgetary support from treasury to treasury. Let me emphasize here that all these arrangements were done at a time when the European Union and its member states were extremely deep in the crisis in Europe.
You can follow the full episode on the iAfrica.tv or via iAfrica social media platforms. Now, a Chinese medical team have arrived in DR Congo to support efforts to defeat the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The medical personnel from Wuhan, where the coronavirus originated, would share their COVID-19 experiences with Congolese counterparts on the measures to tame the spread of the virus. China and Congo enjoyed long-standing relationship, and the gesture will further boost their ties between the two nations. Details of that in this report.
12 Chinese medical experts are in the DRC capital to help the government tackle the coronavirus. The team includes 3 specialists who were involved in fighting against the COVID-19 outbreak in the Chinese city of Wuhan. The DRC and China have enjoyed strong trade relations for decades, and China is now demonstrating that they'll remain friends in good and bad times.
We believe this medical team will come up with positive and concrete measures to help the Congolese officials deal with the coronavirus in the 2 weeks that they'll be here.
The team brought much-needed medical equipment for health workers and facilities in the country. Congolese health officials are optimistic about reducing COVID-19 cases with the support of the Chinese.
This team of Chinese experts will work with our experienced medical teams to fight against this pandemic. We're confident that, together, we will limit the spread of the COVID-19.
Many foreign countries have financially supported the DRC in setting up an emergency response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The government has imposed a partial lockdown at the epicenter of the outbreak in Kinshasa and banned public gatherings. The DRC is among the African countries that the Chinese government has decided to send medical experts to help fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Others include Zimbabwe and Algeria. China has become Africa's largest trading partner, and its officials are keen on maintaining those ties by offering support in difficult times like these.
China sent a medical team in DR Congo in the fight against COVID-19. Now, the Commonwealth health ministers held a visual meeting to assess progress and challenges put up in response to the coronavirus global pandemic. The discussions were centered on the theme delivering a coordinated Commonwealth COVID-19 response with 80 people in attendance. Gambia's Minister of Health, Dr. Amadou Lamin Samate, noted that countries have put in plans suitable for adoption in response to the weak health system of many member countries.
But what we try to do is to group them as to how we deal with the challenges collectively, and that is to collaborate, to tap from each other where one's strength is, learn from each other, to collaborate, to look for collective solutions, to go along with the recommendations. At the end of the day, recommendations will come out of this meeting, and countries, will be expected to take those recommendations and implement them based on the other countries' experiences and our own current experiences. So one key aspect that came up is collaboration. because we all know that one country cannot do it alone. And another aspect that is of importance that came up is cross-border collaboration. And you know, in our situation in the Gambia, cross-border collaboration is so important because of our geography.
Gambia's Health Minister Dr. Amadou Lamin Samate speaking there. Well, there's more news coming ahead, but for now we'll take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Badingol men be Gambia anin Gambia e bantala mbe nga nyillon ko TRRC bala doko sallabang le kono andi la doko be lori men kan wala hadama dingol men na nyanto tinyata nyim banko kanjang kabrin July karo 1994 sangola kana January karo 2017 sangola woto momo yalon ko e mantorata nyi wato kono andi man futa TRRC follow pour que la kuma kan di safo me statement no ye fere ke ye futa TRRC ye la kuma kan di ataria nyama yo pour kana TRRC ye fen kenam pasoti kana futa je wala fen dépense pour ka futa TRRC ke la kuma kan di abe sendi le male barembe nyim fanan ko en la ko pour ka statement o fanan di amanke ko momo ye la kuma kan di TRRC ibelo la television o nyatole mobe jube wotude tele bulu ni laptop ka testify mobe ye la moy mobe je iso kenole bar ni man la fo fanan na ise kuma kango dinole ayatra mol ke kango moy barete nyaada jela nindu man la fo fanana ise sino inin commissional damma aliye kacha ayatra mote bole kalama andu nimme lafta kanyinke ise katoke yin telephone number kumandi pour ka TRRC sotono 7704988 7704988 wala 7415937 7415937 ala baraka mobe sadake TRRC dokot.
Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV, and now to the rest of the stories. Office of the President has announced on Thursday that Minister of Justice will publish the draft constitution in the Gazette before the end of May. The National Assembly, which was the national document which was formally submitted to President Adama Barrow and is expected before the National Assembly in August, according to a media release from the presidency. The Constitutional Review Commission was inaugurated in 2018 to review the 1997 Constitution and come up with a draft that will be subjected to a referendum and also in a third republic for the Gambia. And from that development there, next we head to Nigeria, because the Nigerian private sector is further complementing government's effort in the fight against COVID-19 by providing new COVID-19 treatment centers in the capital Abuja. Since the government eases lockdown restrictions, the number of COVID-19 cases has been increasing, and authorities are now stepping up efforts to control the situation. Here is more details of that.
Tour this newly commissioned isolation and treatment center in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Nigeria called for swift interventions and expansion of health facilities following a spike in the coronavirus cases. This comes a week after the country began loosening up its lockdown order across its major cities. The space would accommodate hundreds more affected by the virus.
We are receiving on behalf of the citizens of the FCT, a very magnificent, well-established COVID-19 treatment center from the Ministerial Committee on COVID-19. This is a purely private sector-led intervention, which has culminated in this facility that has given us an isolation and treatment center that can boast of 500 beds plus. In addition to this facility you are seeing here, the committee has also intervened by providing a 350 kVA generator to the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital Isolation Center.
Major cities mostly hit by the virus have spent about 5 weeks on total lockdown. Since relaxing on it, government has increased community-based testing too. They also urge citizens to play their parts by complying with safety measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus.
As you are aware, for the last 1 week, a gradual process of easing of lockdown had commenced in the FCT. But our experience has shown that the wider community, up to now, is not very compliant with respect to social distancing and all the other items mentioned. If this thing gets out of hand, even though we are now almost boasting of a 1,000 bed spaces within the FCT, we may just wake up and realize that 1,000 will not be enough.
As the pandemic rapidly spreads across the country, authorities are in discussions with private investors on possible new collaborations for more isolation and treatment centers.
From the report there in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, finally we end this news bulletin in South Africa because South Africa joins global efforts for COVID-19 vaccine trials as the world looks up to lasting answer for the pandemic. Under the WHO Solidarity Trial, South Africa is working with 100 other countries for the vaccine. Well, some health officials have raised concerns on the manufacture and distribution of the vaccine ahead of its productions. Let's have more details of that in this report.
South Africa, along with over 100 countries, are working together to find an effective treatment for COVID-19. Under the WHO's Solidarity Trial, the country has agreed to participate in vaccine testing.
There are 3 groups that are busy working with international groups on vaccines, and so anticipate that we will be doing vaccine trials within the next month or so.
Globally, there are currently over 100 vaccines in various stages of development. Many are still in the early stages. 6 have been taken to the next level. Limited testing in the country of development.
Because we're trying to push these vaccine trials very quickly, these trials will be rolled over into much larger studies we call phase 3 trials with thousands of participants who are at risk of acquiring COVID-19, so looking at hotspot areas or high incident areas. And there, once we have given the vaccine, we'll look for efficacy. We look to see, does this vaccine work and protect against infection completely or cause a less severe disease?
While South Africa and other developing countries will be involved in the vaccine trials, there's the issue of manufacture and access to the vaccine afterwards.
We're also concerned that the demand could then be swallowed up by richer, bigger countries that have got access to manufacturing, and that the poorer countries of the world, whole continents like the African region, might not get the same level of access.
It's been suggested that immunizing the world's healthcare workers would make more sense.
It will give us a very good idea of how well the vaccine works in the field in different communities, but it will keep the world's health services going, which is a critically important issue at the moment for all countries.
While the broader discussion is happening at a global political level, South Africa is preparing itself for those vaccine trials. The medical practitioners are going to be moving into those communities to do those vaccine trials where the people actually are and not in hospitals.
That report there in South Africa finally brings this news bulletin to an end. But for more details of this and other stories, you can also look on our website on africa.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Stay safe. Thanks for watching and Bye for now.
bi jeex na depuis démba xettali ma rek ni jaay nga jëndal ma kaas paw balaa yére yi di wow dama passé
fii amoo fi benn xaalis laa amut waaw may ma tuuti waaw Mamadou waaw ma ne dimbale ñu rek nga yónnee ñu kaas paw léegi suñ kaas paw moo jeex depuis démb ok baax na
waaye yow ni jaay jaaxle naa de yow Mamadou naka lam ñoo jëndalee kaas pawa te fekk mu ngi bitim réew ni jaay
xanaa xamuloo ne ak balu waaye mën a nekk ci bitim réew mun naa yónnee njabootam kaas pawa ni ngay def yomb na da ngay log on to www.baluwo.com